As I said you earlier, what is NLP? It is basically phenomenon via which we can let our ML model to understand what we are saying in our natural language. Okay, so suppose if we all do shopping on Amazon. Okay, so we are doing shopping on Amazon, and before shopping anything, we give a look at their reviews. So and we can understand sentiments behind each review being a human being. But what about our ML model? They can't understand that sentiment. So for that we use natural language processing, and there are some steps in NLP which we use to let our model understand the sentiments or other applications. Like first of all we do pre-processing, then we convert that list to features, and then we gave it to our model. Okay, so what are those applications? Yeah, so there are some applications of NLP, like we all use Google Assistant, Siri, then Cortana. There we use NLP. After that, the recommendation system. Then our autocomplete in Google. There also we use NLP. Then automated captions. Yeah, and how can we forget that famous example of spam and ham in Gmail? We classify our mails as spam and ham using NLP only. Okay, so so as I said you earlier that we do pre-processing in NLP, but why do we need to do those pre-processing things in NLP? Okay, wait. Basically, what is pre-processing? So we have some type of data through newspaper, then Twitter, then WhatsApp, and many more things. But it is unstructured data, so we need to perform some pre-processing on it so that we can provide it to our ML model. Okay. Uh, Now suppose I'm on Twitter and I'm doing some tweet. I'm giving some tweet on it. So in that sometimes we write thanks as THNKs. Then we use some shortcuts. After that, if you want to tag someone, then we use add some UXYZ username. But we can't use that type of data for in NLP. So for that we need to perform pre-processing. Okay, so suppose, yeah, okay, someone is saying that you should perform pre-processing and do these things. But what if I didn't perform pre-processing on my text? So what would happen? Suppose if I'm giving some review to any product, and it is my statement that their customer support service is nightmare, but it's before pre-processing, and if we analyze it using one API, it is Azure API which I have used to check sentiment behind this statement. So it's saying me that it is neutral. Oh, really? It's negative sentiment, and this it is saying me that it is neutral. So I think what would be my result after performing pre-processing? Yeah, so here I have performed pre-processing, and as you can see here, it's 16%, that is negative sentiment. So we are able to analyze this thing, and we are able to analyze the sentiment behind it. So we need to perform pre-processing. Okay, so uh, there is some pre-processing pipeline. Okay, so I have this statement: the dog is walking at lawn. Okay, now in this sentence we are having we can say it as unstructured data because it has many more things like is, then we have a plus ing in walking. So to make it structured, we need to give it through pre-processing pipeline. Now what are those pre-processing techniques? So let's see it one by one. Before that, if someone wants to answer, what are some pre-processing techniques we generally perform in NLP? Anyone? Yeah, anyone? What are those pre-processing techniques which we perform? Suppose I want to perform pre-processing technique, then what would be those? Any? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Yes. So Before that, as I said you that there can be some noisy things like at, then we are giving some explanation marks in our tweets. So those are noisy entities in our statements. For that we use regex. So what is regex? Regex is basically regular expression. For that we use a Python library called RE, which stands for regular expression, for performing this regular expression things. Okay. So as I told you, we use regex for removing noisy entities. Now, what are these regular expression? These are some sequence of patterns or sequence of symbols uh, which we use. So there are some functions in this RE library which are match, find all, then sub, then strip. These are some functions we are going to see this. And after that, as I said you that these are some function, we need to pass some patterns to this. So those patterns are like slash d. Then as you can see, these are some type of patterns which we have in regular expression. Yeah. So suppose I'm retrieving some data from internet and I have this string. This is phone number and this is some phone number which I want to retrieve from this statement. Okay. I want to check whether I want to retrieve these numbers from this string. So what will I do? First of all, this as I said you RE, it is a Python library re.findAll. So what this findAll does? Okay, so for using find all, we can retrieve all those patterns from this string, all those patterns, not only a single one. If we want to retrieve just one pattern from this string, then we can use search. But if there are a number of the such type of patterns, at that time we can use find all. Okay, so re.findAll slash d. What is slash d? Slash d stands for numbers in regular expression and string. We need to perform this function on which type of variable, on which variable, that's the string. Okay, now what would be output from find now? It will give us all of these numbers 06153, all these numbers. Okay, now do someone have any doubt like what happened in this statement, then they can put it on Q&A section. I will check it later. Okay, now we are done with numbers. Now I want to retrieve customer data. Like I have this Mr. dot data. It can be name of any customer. After that, product category, it can be any string. Now I want to retrieve those things from this string. So what will I do? Okay, so you can see this pattern. Okay, what does this pattern means is we want all those strings, that is A B C D, all in lowercase and all in uppercase things too from this string. So using find all, we are retrieving all strings, lowercase as well as uppercase from this statement, from this string variable. So all those things will be contained in data variable. Okay, after that, what I want to do is I have this string and I want to split it on the basis of white spaces. So what will I do? I will use split function from RE, and I will just give a white space and your string. So what will it do? It will RES will be a list of these things which will contain 48, then Mr. dot data and 57. Okay. Now, I hope none of you have some doubts regarding regular expression, but if you have, then put it in Q&A. Okay. Now, until now, we have checked how to remove noisy entities from our data. Okay. Now, let's go to the basic things which we perform, some basic terms. Those are corpus, token, and engrams. Before that, do someone know what is corpus? Yeah, put it here. What is corpus? Yes, it's okay if you don't know. Yeah, fine. I will answer it. Okay, so corpus is basically collection of documents. For example, I have one data set containing all of those news. Then what can I say to that data set? It is corpus. Corpus means collection of documents. Okay, so it is my corpus, and we have many more news in it. Okay, so corpus consists of documents. Documents consist of paragraphs, and each paragraph consists of sentences, and those sentences are comprises of tokens. Okay, now what are tokens? I'm expecting answer for this at least. What is tokens? Okay, so tell me what is token. Okay, right answer for what is corpus. Now, what is token? Yeah, right, Smriti. Yeah. So, actually, tokens can be words, phrases, or anagrams. It can be any small entities in our sentences. Okay. So, what I said, it can be words, phrases, or anagrams. Now, what is engram? Okay. So, engrams is collection of n words together. So now there are some types. What I said, collection of n words together. Now based on those n words, there are some types of n-grams like unigram, bigram, trigram. So let's see. Okay. So I have one basic sentence. This is a sentence. Now I want unigram of it. So at that time n is equal to 1. So what will I get from unigrams? We will get this is a sentence that is space separated one word, that is unigram. Now what I want bigrams. So we are taking two words as a collection, but give a look at the thing that we are gonna take it in simultaneous way, like this is a sentence. Don't do like this and sentence. This sentence is not going to be a bigram. Okay, it should be in simultaneous way. After that trigram, so yeah, same as like that of n equal to 3, then it would be collection of three words on simultaneous way. Okay, now here we are done with the n-grams. Now suppose if I'm a I am doing some tweets on Twitter, and I had done one tweet. I'm going to Canada for giving my Tomcat exam, like randomly. Okay, so in that, suppose I have these three words: Canada, Canada, Canada. Now let me know, like, are these three words different? No, right? They have just difference in their cases. So what will I do? I will change them to lowercase only. Same for tomcat. And why we basically do it? Because those are not three different words. Those are same. So we can assume them as a simple as a single word, because we don't wanna give uh, put our ML model on problems. So we are gonna change them to lowercase only. So this is the first step of pre-processing pipeline. Okay. Now I saw in comment section you guys said that we do a tokenization. So we have tokenizer for it. So what Mr. Tokenizer does? It tears our strings apart. Okay. So let's see. Yeah. So I have one this sentence. Okay. So in tokenization, we can split up them on the basis of various delimiters. Like it can be our white spaces, it can be comma too. So here we have separated them on the basis of white spaces as a delimiter. So some random blank ways, and have splitted them. Okay. O, home, and many more things. Now suppose if I am making any chatbot, at that time I don't want that chatbot to be in English only, right? English or any other language. So we know that in English we can perform tokenization on the basis of these white spaces or comma separated. But what about another languages like Japanese, then Chinese? Their words don't have their delimiter as white spaces or comma only. So, does anyone know what do we do for in such type of situation? It is really interesting. Yes. Okay. Okay, so basically, for English we have our simple tokenizer, and for other languages, we have different types of tokenizer. Like for Spanish, German, Japanese, we have different types of tokenizer for each language. We can use that. Okay. Okay. Now, what was my sentence? I'm going to Canada for giving my Tomcat exam. Okay, I converted them to lowercase, then I tokenize them. But what is the importance of am, then the, then to in this sentence? Like, there is no importance, so we can remove those stop words. Yes. So I have this sentence. Oh man, this is pretty cool. We will do more such things. Like you can say, oh man, this session is pretty cool. So we will arrive here again. Right. I hope so. You are thinking this only. Okay, so I have this sentence. What is my output of which stop first? I have these things. This is, then will, do, more, such. So I can remove those by removal of stop words. So this is my output after removal of stop word. Okay. Okay. So let's revise quickly. What are those pre-processing steps which we performed until now? We did lowercase, then stop word removal, and tokenization. Okay, so until tokenization, we have a list of words which are separated by comma, and they don't have stop word, and they all are in lowercase. But uh, what was my last example? I am going to Canada for giving my Tomcat exam. Now, going, giving, we don't need this extended form of these words. A go plus ing. Ing is their suffix. We can understand the meaning of that sentence after removing those suffixes too. Okay, so we are going to see those things in our morphological normalization. Okay, so first of all, morphological normalization. So what is morpheme? So morpheme is nothing but base form of a word. Like for going, it's go. So if we think of a token, what would be its structure? It would be prefix, morpheme plus suffix. Uh, I told you earlier what was suffix for go plus ing. Now I have one word, anti-nationalists. Then anti would be its prefix, then national would be morpheme, and suffix is ist. Now let's come to the term normalization. So what is normalization? It is basically transforming our token to its base form, that is morpheme. Now we have various techniques under morphological normalization which can normalize our tokens. Like we have stemming, then we have a lemmatization. Okay, so does anyone want to answer what is stemming? I think you must have got some idea of what is stemming. I hope so. Yeah, right. So, yes. So you can think of stemming. Okay, we can relate the stemming word to stem of our tree. So we have this stem and these leaves. These leaves are just, we can say them as extended form of our stem. So in the same way, as Junaid said, what we do in stemming is we normalize them to their root form. Okay, so let's take one example. uh, Same as of tweet only. So I am writing any tweet in which I am writing about the internet connectivity on Twitter. So in that I have used these various types of words: connects, connected, connecting, connection, and connections. Okay, now these are extra things for me, like for my model. So what will I do? Yes, I will combine I will normalize these all words to a single word, that is connect. Okay, so these are some things which we do in stemming. But now I have this word connects, connected. This can be normalized to the single word connect, but that is their stem. But what about words like begin, began, then drunk, drink? What about these words? We can, it's difficult for us to normalize them using stemming algorithms. Like you can see here, um, my studying word is is getting normalized, is getting stem to study as a stem. Then studies is getting a stem to STUDR. Is there a word called STUDR in our dictionary? No. So that's the, these are some disadvantages of stemming. It sometimes it generates non-meaningful terms. Okay. So for that we need some more advanced technique, which can help us and which can effectively reduce those words to its base form correctly and without generating any non-meaningful words. So for that, there is a technique called lemmatization. Yeah. I have this word. Lucy said that car's engine was running all night. What will it do? It will lemmatize each of those words which have suffixes and prefixes to their lemma form. Now, what is lemma? Lemma is basically their base form or their or dictionary form of that particular word. So there is a dictionary form of that particular word. It means that it is not going to be any non-meaningful term. Okay, so we can say for surely that lemmatization is going to give us some meaningful terms only. Okay, so but whenever we are how are we gonna get those perfect dictionary terms from lemmatization is by using part of speech tags. So whenever we use any lemmatizer, at that time we gave them their part of speech tags to that particular string or that particular sentence. So let's see part of speech tags. Yeah. So I hope so. You all can remember these English grammar things: noun, verb, adjective, adverb. We cover all those things in our late standards. But yeah, yeah. So I have this sentence: David has purchased a new laptop from Apple Store. Oh, he seems to be rich. Yeah. So here, like we can say, David is noun, has is verb. Like in this way. That each part of speech tag is given to each sentence. Now, don't worry, you don't need to revise your English grammar for it. We can use part of speech method from NLTK, which will give us part of speech tags of each word in each sentence. Okay.